Hello, dosto. Welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. This is your host Shubhajit, once again back with another virtual episode. And today I get a lot of happiness. It's a mixed feeling, I can say, because I'm happy meeting somebody I've really admired for the longest time. And on the other hand, I'm a little sad because we're talking about a subject which has harmed India in a big level. But anyways, mixed feelings going forward. Konkona ma'am, welcome to IWMBuzz.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shubhajit. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, ma'am. Good, ma'am. Lovely to see you over here.
Thank
You
you.
know, but obviously, but as I said, it's a mixed feeling because I'm happy to meet you, and at the same time, we're talking about a horrific incident that has literally shaken India in a really bad way. To begin with, what is your first memory of 26/11? When was the first time you actually heard that something like this? Because I don't think after 9/11 something like as organized as this happened anywhere. So, what was your initial reaction when all that massacre was happening?
Well, actually, I was not in town at that time. I was not in Mumbai.
Yeah,
And so the news was really trickling in.
yeah,
We were kind of just gradually getting to know some things. And it was a very difficult time because for everybody, of course. And
yeah,
because, we didn't have a handle on the kind of the nature of the event because it was, multiple locations. It went
yes.
on over 3 days. And so really didn't know when there would be something next. When, is it safe to come back to Mumbai? Are our friends and family safe here? So it was a very
Yeah,
confusing, very terrifying time. When I came back to Mumbai a few days after the event, I remember
yeah,
there was a heaviness in the air. There was a very there was an uneasy kind of a stillness. It was a very
yeah,
horrible situation where everybody was in a state of shock and grief and just disbelief that something like this could have happened in Mumbai.
yeah. But we can't really control what has happened, so we can only look forward to ensuring something like that doesn't happen. Moving on to the next question, ma'am. I was talking to Tina as well, and I asked her the same thing. I would love to ask you the same thing as well. When I asked her, she told me that there was a very weird feeling she was having on the sets because on one hand, she wanted to ensure she was giving every shot perfectly, सब कुछ सही तरीके से हो रहा है. On the other hand, we are ensuring something like that. We're talking about 26/11. It's one of the darkest chapters I would say in Indian history. So it was a very weird feeling for her. Was it the same for you as well when you were shooting for this?
Yeah, it was. It was very strange and honestly a very difficult thing to recreate because
Yes.
I'd never seen something like that so up close and personal. And even though, as a city, we have all gone through it,
Yeah.
it's part of our collective consciousness. We have,
Yeah.
dealt with it. We have survived it. We have
Yeah.
spoken to people who were there. We have heard
Yeah.
other accounts and stories.
Yeah.
We have moved on, even in some cases. But, I've never really thought of it from
Yeah.
what must be inside that hospital where the terrorists came. Never thought about it
Yes.
from the point of view of the medical community from a
Yes.
government hospital and
Yeah.
not they are not trained to deal with these unprecedented events. They're trained to save lives,
True.
so it is horrific. And honestly, I think like I have a newfound appreciation for, I mean, our frontline workers, our
Yeah.
first responders. And unfortunately it takes a 26/11 or it takes a pandemic for us to realize
Yes.
how tough their jobs are.
Yes, that's I think the worst part of it, but better late than never. You were talking about, as you mentioned rightly, this was a perspective about the frontline workers, the people from the medical fraternity. We haven't really seen. We have seen a lot of content on 26/11. Be it the hotel to Mumbai or other stuff that has been made, but this is the first time something like that, is talking about the medical fraternity, celebrating. I would say, or I would say, lauding. Celebrating would be the wrong word. Lauding the efforts that
Tribute.
they have
Yeah, I
put
think it's a
before.
tribute to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
frontline workers.
yeah. So do you think a time was better than time better than this could have been? I personally feel there could not have been a better time like this because there's a pandemic going on. We're already talking about them. So do you feel the timing of the release is probably spot on when it comes to giving them a tribute?
I mean, we had never planned it like this, obviously. So, I mean, the
Yeah.
timing actually is really not at all up to the actors, of course, but
Yes,
also
of course.
it depends on so many other things, right? I mean, not
Yeah.
just the pandemic, Amazon's slate for the year, when the series is ready,
Yes.
because we are, of course, shooting it, and
Yes.
after that, there is a long process of post production, especially because it's 8 episodes,
Yeah.
long episodes. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't really want to comment on the timing of it because I mean that's not really. my area of.
Yeah.
Any time is a good
Expertise.
time to pay a tribute to frontline workers, but hopefully
Yeah.
this is at a time where people will appreciate them even more.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. When you're talking about, obviously this is coming on Amazon Prime Video, and in the last few years we have already seen a lot of actors who have already established themselves in movies. They are taking to OTT to kind of rediscover their own potential. So are you looking forward to that as well? Do you, what is exactly your perspective about the OTT platform? How do you look at it?
I mean, there are many wonderful things about OTT platforms.
Yeah.
I think that thanks to COVID, they've really, I mean, there's been such a boom in OTT content,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
One wonderful thing which has come out of it is that there are many, many good actors we have seen of late who wonderful performances, actors who may not have gotten their due in the mainstream Hindi cinema space, but who have shone in OTT platform content. So that is a very wonderful thing that has happened. Another fantastic thing is that, everybody has work, because even in the pandemic, I mean, writers and makers were very busy. Lawyers, contracts, all of this stuff was, still ongoing. I think that everybody, the makers, the writers, the technicians, everybody's busy because everybody has so much work, because there's so much content being created, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And also that, we have a certain, I think we are more open to different kinds of formats and therefore different kinds of content now, because we have, I have watched much more regional cinema now than I had earlier. I have, we watch now anthologies and short films, mini series, or season after season of your favorite, show. We have watched documentaries, all kinds, reality shows, whatever you want. So there's been a certain diversification, which is quite nice. Not to get, earlier it was just 2.5 hour picture, So that is nice that we get to watch all kinds of different things. Platforms also, I mean, there should not be a monopolization of, they should not dictate terms to makers and actors and artists.
Yeah. I think that's a fair perspective put forward. Second last question that I would want to know from you is that, every character that an actor plays, there's something or the other that comes off as a major challenge which they have to probably fight. So what was that most challenging thing for you in this one?
Normally when I play a character,
the
character also goes through the normal ups and downs of life, like me. I mean, whatever it is, whether it's something to do with love or a loved one dying, or, like a betrayal, or, a child or whatever. Very rarely do you have to play a character who's gone through such extreme circumstances, like who has been lived through a terrorist attack, or who has been through, like, for example, a plane crash. So those things are even harder to recreate, actually, because there is no frame of reference. I mean, you don't even know what something like that is like, right? So that was a bit of a challenge. I mean, it's always, of course, helpful because we had wonderful cast and we did a lot of rehearsals. We had a great director who helped us. They done a lot of research they shared with us. So that was great. But still, the experience is like out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Wonderful, ma'am. One last question, and it is something that I'll give you the leverage to decide whether you want to answer or not. I'm asking you, but it is entirely your choice whether you want to answer it or not. In the last few years, ma'am, the entire country has seen, people talk a lot about, Bollywood mein ye kharab hai, industry mein ye kharab hai, but they don't talk about the positives. A lot of people, I personally, this is my personal opinion, a lot of people who have probably separated, or divorced or whatever, they have maintained grace in their own situation. And this co-parenting thing, because whenever people separate, I think it takes a lot of toll on the child in certain situations. But when the parents come forward and take forward that responsibility and still ensure that we are there for you, I think a lot of people have done that. You have done that. There are other couples as well whom I can take examples. So how important do you think this co-parenting is in order to ensure the psyche of the child when their parents separate, that is remaining, that is ensured कि वो सही हो, उसका कुछ अलग, गलत कुछ ना हो? It is entirely your wish, ma'am, if you want to answer or not. This is my question.
Sure, I don't mind. I was going to say that, I think what is very unhealthy for a child to see is a very toxic marriage. where parents are fighting and screaming and shouting and, vilifying each other all the time. Or I think that is very unhealthy for a child to grow up with that idea of marriage either. Not that I think that everybody has to get married at all. But I think it's better for a child to see happy parents apart than unhappy parents together.
Very fair point.
And of course, I mean, it's lovely where even if the marriage has dissolved, one still exists as co-parents and one can be support to the other.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something which a lot of people can take lessons from the industry, because it's not always ki sab kuch kharab hai. There are a lot of things which we can learn from as well. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, and this one in particular. I love the chat, and he's wishing you all the best for everything that you do in the future, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.